Somewhere in the Rift Valley this morning, a farmer is standing in a field of maize that is not going to pay her back. She did everything right. She bought the certified seed. She bought the fertilizer at a price that keeps climbing because of a distant war in a country she's never been to. She waited for the long rains, but this year the rains came late, and then they came all at once. She sells her harvest. If the broker is fair, she might clear 30,000 shillings for the year off this acre, maybe 50 in a very good year. It's about 400 US dollars. Her reward for 12 months of hard work, weather, and worry. Because Kenya does not have a dirty grid that needs cleaning. Roughly 90% of our electricity is already renewable. Geothermal steam from under the Rift Valley. Solar and the largest wind farm on the continent, up at Lake Turkana. The renewable energy metric that the whole rich world is straining toward, Kenya has quietly already won. Welcome to Jay's Takes. Today, I want to make an argument that may sound absurd for about 30 seconds, but then, I promise you, will become very hard to unhear. The argument is this: the single most valuable new crop a Kenyan smallholder could harvest on her land is not maize. It is not avocados. It is electrons. The only thing standing between her and that harvest is one outdated line in one piece of unenacted Kenyan legislation. Sit with that first fact, because it changes everything that follows. When a European country puts solar panels on a farm, the headline benefit is decarbonization. Every kilowatt hour from those panels shoves a kilowatt hour of dirty coal or gas off the power grid. The climate math is the whole point. However, in Kenya, that lever barely moves because there is almost no coal or gas to shove. Our grid is already one of the greenest on Earth. So if you come to a Kenyan farmer and lead with carbon, you are answering a question she did not ask. But look at the same farmer through a different lens, and the opportunity is enormous. Because while Kenya has solved its energy mix, it has not solved rural poverty. Agriculture employs the majority of Kenyans. Smallholders produce around 70% of all the food this country eats, and they earn almost nothing for it. So here's the reframe that this entire episode rests on. In Kenya, putting solar on a farm is not an energy project. It is an income project. It's not about saving the planet. It is about supporting the person standing in that field. And once you see it that way, the whole economics turn upside down. To understand the opportunity, we first have to be honest about the baseline. What does an acre of maize actually earn? Gross numbers can look respectable. A decent harvest can gross well over 180,000 shillings. That is the figure quoted at rallies. Gross revenue is a fiction. Out of that comes the seed, fertilizer, land prep, labor. A smallholder is often clearing between 30 and 50,000 shillings of actual profit per acre. It is fragile in every direction. The rains can fail, the price can collapse at harvest. This is not a business. It is a gamble with her family's food security at stake. That is the trap. Not laziness, not bad techniques. A structurally low ceiling on what the land can return, sitting under some of the most reliable sunshine on the planet, which is exactly the resource nobody is monetizing. To see the alternative, we need to leave Kenya for a moment and go to India, where they have spent the last several years running exactly this kind of experiment on a national scale. In 2019, India launched PM Kusum. The ambition was staggering, nearly 35,000 megawatts of solar capacity on rural farmland. The core idea was simple and radical. Turn the farmer from a consumer of electricity into a producer of it. Let the land grow power, and let the farmer get paid. Conversion pays farmers to solarize irrigation pumps. But that doesn't map well to Kenya, where smallholders are mostly rain-fed. So I want to point you to Agrivoltaics. A private developer leases the air rights above the farmer's land for 25 years. They install solar panels high on tall legs in spaced rows, high enough that the farmer can keep farming underneath. The developer owns the panels and takes the risk. The farmer gets a steady lease payment for a quarter of a century. There is a real case study for this, a plant at Najafgarh. Before the panels, the farmer earned 41,000 rupees per acre growing wheat. After the lease, his income roughly quadrupled from the rent alone. Same land, same sun, guaranteed and shielded from climate change. Call it a third crop, not the grain, not the vegetables. The electrons harvested from the air above both. What's important is the ratio. Of all the money the developer earns selling electricity, what share flows down to the farmer as rent? Across Indian schemes, that share has ranged from stingy to fair, from a few percent in Odisha to 15% in Delhi. That's the number we can carry to Kenya. Let us build this on Kenyan ground with conservative numbers. Take a 1-acre shamba, cover half with spaced, high-mounted rows of panels. That footprint, you can install about 50 kilowatts of solar panels. The Rift Valley has excellent solar irradiance, about 5 peak hours a day. Yield generates about 90,000 kilowatt hours a year off that single-acre farm. Now, what is that power worth? Assume the utility buys this rural electricity at 50% of retail. Call it 10 shillings a unit. 90,000 units is 900,000 shillings of revenue. Apply our ratio. Let's be generous and say Kenya sets the farmer's share at 20%. That is 180,000 shillings a year. Pair that against the maize number, 30 to 50,000 shillings from maize, potentially still exposed to drought. 180,000 from the lease, rain or shine. We are not done because the farmer still has the land. Maize hates shade, but high-value crops actually prefer partial shade. They lose less water and suffer less stress. The list reads like a Kenyan kitchen garden: sukuma wiki, spinach, cabbage, sweet potato. Not to mention goats and chickens as possibilities too. We'll add another 60,000 shillings from vegetables. Stack it up. 180,000 in rent plus 60,000 from shade crops is 240,000 per year. That is a 5 to 8-fold increase in what an acre earns. And crucially, it still leaves the developer 80% of the revenue. Nobody at this table is being robbed. That is what makes it bankable, and bankable is what makes it real. Let me show you why this is not a charity pitch, because that is what makes it durable. Start with Kenya Power. In this model, it acquires new generation at half price and sells at full retail. A nearly 100% markup with no transmission lines to build. Power appears at the rural edge of the grid, exactly where the network is weakest. This is not a favor to farmers. It is a good commercial deal for the utility. And we already have companies in Kenya who could do this. PowerHive, headquartered in Nairobi, was the first privately licensed utility. It already builds solar microgrids. Kudura Power East Africa, operating microgrids from Busia into Turkana. The developer capability exists. It is Kenyan, and it is already in the field. Scale it. Kenya has 5 million subsistence smallholder households. Imagine converting just 1 in 10, 500,000 farms. 240,000 shillings each, that is 120 billion shillings a year. Close to $1 billion US flowing into poor households. Let me anchor that $1 billion. In 2022, the World Bank approved a $250 million credit for 500,000 farmers. That is real, and it matters. The model I described reaches the same farmers and delivers 4 times the income every single year. Not as debt to repay, but as private impact investment. It is the difference between borrowing to hand out fish and rewiring the economy so the ever-present sun does the fishing. So why is this not already happening? Because of one word buried in a forgotten Kenyan law. The word is credit. Kenya has a framework for consumer-generated power, but it was written for wealthy suburban homeowners with solar on their roof, not for a rural farmer trying to earn a living. It pays not in money, but in credits towards existing electricity bills. Worse, Any credits earned expire at the end of the year and cannot be resold. Worthless to rural farmers. Subsistence farmers' electricity bill is tiny. Offering a discount on a bill she barely pays is meaningless. You cannot build economic empowerment on a discount coupon that expires. What she needs is not a credit. It is cash, a real payment for real power. The technical name for that is net billing, or a feed-in tariff. Precisely what India built and Kenya has not. Here's the hopeful part. The door is already cracking open. Just this year, in 2026, Kenya passed new open access rules that broke Kenya Power's monopoly. Legislative machinery for a more open market is being built right now. The moment to push this through is not 5 years away. It is this year. So how do we get this done? It comes down to 3 people and 4 changes. Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi sets the direction. Acting Director General of EPRA, Dr. Joseph Okech, holds the pen. And the Agriculture Principal Secretary, Dr. Paul Rono, represents the farmer's voice. What do we need from them? First, let farmers earn cash from the sunlight their farms are collecting. Second, lift capacity caps so farm-scale solar qualifies. Third, require Kenya Power to buy a portion of its capacity from rural Mwananchi energy. And fourth, protect smallholders with fair, secure, 25-year lease terms. 4 signatures, 500,000 farmers, $1 billion a year. And that's just the start. The sun is already shining on Kenya. We just need permission to sell it.